Hi, Susan, and welcome to Camden Town Radio.
Thank you so much.
It's great to have you on the show, and we believe you're going to be doing a show at Pizza Express Holborn this weekend.
Yes, I just came in on Monday.
Yes.
And happy to speak with you. And yes, on the 7th, I started coming. I'm at Pizza Express Holborn. And I'm trying to celebrate for myself having been around the music business and singing for 50 years.
Wow.
This year.
That's
my 50th year anniversary.
Wow.
So I'm a golden oldie.
Yes. Certainly a great achievement, that's for sure. Well, we'll come on to what's happening at the show on Saturday later, but I just want to, go back to your beginnings, really. So you are Jamaican, but I believe you spent quite a lot of time in the country Belize growing up, is that right?
Well, not a lot of time. I spent some childhood years there.
Okay.
Because my father is Belizean.
Yeah.
And he's a Methodist minister. So he came to Jamaica studying his theology and met my mother.
Yeah.
And they went back to Belize, but every time she was to have a baby, she came back to Jamaica to have the baby. But I thought Belize was not as modern. I don't know, but so I was born in Jamaica and taken back to Belize as a baby.
Yes.
And grew up there and went to, my first school and stuff there. And I have a lot of memories of Belize.
Yeah.
And actually to date, I use my Belize passport.
Oh, okay.
So I am quite Belizean Jamaican and also have a touch of US.
Yeah.
But it's all good.
Yes.
Everything is in me. So
yes, that's very interesting beginning. So with your father being involved in the church, did you come across any choirs or things like that within the church environment?
Yes. Well, he moved, the ministers are stationed out to different churches. So wherever he went, the family went.
Okay.
And I belonged to the choir, the junior choir.
Yes.
And I used to sing contralto.
Oh.
When I started singing, I sang very, very high soprano.
Yeah.
And my mother also sang.
Yes.
Kind of really classically, classical voice. And so I was influenced by her, and she was usually in the choir too, or the choir mistress and things.
Right.
So, so I did do some choir singing. But my interest in music really came from my sister, who was really into music.
Yes.
And I used to watch her sing and dance, so I started to sing and dance. And also, as I said, Mommy was a singer.
Yes.
And my brother came 11 years after me, so I had a baby brother when I was 11.
Oh, okay.
And my mother used to sing him the most beautiful Negro spiritual lullabies and things, and I used to try and sing them just like her. So I used to rock him to sleep and sing, and music has always been around me. So I love to sing, but I never really thought about singing as a career.
Okay, yes. It sounds like you had a lot of good early experience in music and singing that set you up.
Yes.
For later on.
So what I used to do is put on records of my favorite singers, and my most favorite group from way back then was the Platters.
Oh, yeah.
So I know all the Platters, Twilight Time and Only You and My Prayer and those things.
Yes.
And I used to put on the record and stand in front of the record player and sing, and pretend I was on a stage.
Oh, yes.
At that time, I was quite a chubby little girl, but it was just, I don't know. And I just had this pull for it.
Yes.
Because up to when I was out of school and thing, I didn't have any calling, like somebody knows, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a nurse. I didn't know I didn't want to be anything.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know.
No, so at that stage
somehow or other, this music found me.
Okay, so at that stage you weren't thinking you were going to be a singer commercially, but you...
Yeah, but all my friends and family knew I loved to sing.
Yes.
Because, as I tell you, I was chubby, so at night I'd put on the music, sing along and dance to exercise. And I lost a lot of weight. And also who did I see first? I don't remember who. I think I did see the Platters,
Oh, yes.
I think they came to Montego Bay. I used to live in Montego Bay.
Ah, okay.
And just the whole thing, the movements, and I was really influenced by Shirley Bassey and the Supremes, and I was more into soul
Yes.
and Motown music more than reggae.
Okay.
But as I say, my best friend, who is still my best friend now, 62 years,
Yes.
is her boyfriend, who used to work at the radio station in Jamaica,
Oh, yes.
was into music and wanted her to sing a song for him because she can sing too.
Yes.
And she said, no, let Anne sing it.
Okay.
Anne is my real name.
Ah, yes, I read. Yes. That was
Alice and Anne. So
Yes.
at home I'm called Anne.
Yeah.
So he took us down to the studio to record this song. But when we went to record, when I went there, I met this little man. I didn't know who it was. I didn't know where I was.
Yes.
But all I knew was I was going to sing. So I sang his song, which was Love My Life, which was my very first recording.
Yes.
And when I finished singing it, Lee Perry said to me, well, it was Lee Perry, I didn't know then,
All right.
oh, I love your voice, So he said to my friend, can I borrow your singer? Lend me a singer.
Right.
And he said to me, do you know this song? So since I was a lover of that kind of music, of course I knew Millie Jackson's Hurt So Good.
Yes.
So he played this track and said, you think you can sing it? And I said, of course. So I went back in the studio and just voiced Hurt So Good.
All
And he
right.
said he loved it and I was to sing it again.
Right.
So I sang it a couple of times and he taped me. I didn't think of anything about any music being released
Yes.
or any legal. I just was so happy.
Yeah, so it's quite a natural performance.
Yeah, and he said to me, I really like how you sing. I want you to sing some more songs for me. And he gave me 2 cassette tapes to learn
Oh, yes.
and said next weekend you must come back.
Right.
And I started going down. That's when I found out that even when I left there, I didn't know that was Lee Scratch Perry,
Right.
And I was in the Black Ark, So afterwards, now I started going every weekend. And I remember Glenn Adams and Jimmy Riley and Aston Family Man Barrett. They
Yes.
used to be there hanging around. And I'd go and sing for Perry.
Oh,
I'd sing and sing and sing. And next thing I got a phone call saying that, oh, you have to come to London. I
Yes.
said, for what?
so we're in the 1970s now.
Yeah, this
Yep.
is 75.
Yes.
Early 75, because I recorded Her So Good around the summer of 74,
Okay. Yes.
the later part, and all the songs that it was for Scratch.
Yes.
Right? I didn't know he sold it out to quite a few people, but however it was, it ended up in the hands of Pete Waterman.
Yes. In London.
Right? Yeah. From what I heard, some people say he went to Jamaica and heard it, but I heard he heard it in Brixton Market
Oh, okay.
at a record shop. It was DIP Records, and he took it to Magnet and said, look, I like this song. I think it has whatever.
Yes.
So Pete, that's where I get connected with Pete, because if it wasn't for Pete doing that, Hurt So Good wouldn't have been the success that it was.
Yes.
And I wouldn't be who I am today.
Yes, because he was with Magnet Records, so he took it
Yes,
to them
we
and
took
said,
it to Magnet Records. And with that now, whatever happened, it's kind of went on the chart. I hear it was at Notting Hill Carnival first,
yes.
and it was number 1 on the black charts. And when he took it to Magnet, next thing it was bubbling outside the top 40.
Ah, yes.
So that's when they called me to come over
Yes.
to help promote it. So I came over, must be the Monday or something, and by the Thursday, I was on top of the pops.
Yes. So it's quite a quick process from.
Quite a spin around.
Yes.
I didn't want to come,
Oh, okay.
but because I kept phoning every time I went home. They say, and those people phone you again. And I said, what people?
Yes.
So when they called me now, I don't know, Magnet called eventually and said, that they'd like me to come up because this song is doing so well and things. So I asked them, what about Mr. Perry? And they said, oh, he's coming too. So when I heard that now, I said, well, okay.
Yes.
So I packed up and came over and was met by DIP.
Oh, yes.
Dennis Harris.
Yes.
He owned DIP Records.
Okay, yes.
And the next day he took me into Magnet, where I met Pete. And it was Michael Levy who was the director or manager of Magnet Records.
Yes.
I always remember him, he wore a very outstanding ring on his pinky finger. And he didn't hold out his hand to you to shake. He held it down, and you must take his hand.
Okay.
He was quite regal. So after that, now I used to be up and down with Pete.
Yes.
We had to go shopping and stuff. He would go with me top of the pops, and then eventually, because of the legal problems with Hurt So Good,
yes,
when Magnet found out they didn't really own Hurt So Good, because they had sold it out to Magnet when it belonged to Trojan.
Yes.
So Trojan claimed it back when it was at number 4 with an arrow. So they had to freeze it. It jumped from like 40 to 25 to 11 to 4 with an arrow. And they said that they froze it.
Yes.
Because the song that says 18 with a bullet. Well, I was 4 with a bullet. Yeah, man. So because of that now, they had to record their own Hurt So Good.
Right. Okay.
So Pete, and then also the follow-up to Hurt So Good had to be done, since they were not going to use Perry's music again. Perry was very upset over that, but it was really his fault.
Yes.
Because Pete was the producer for Magnet or whatever.
Yes.
So I remember going to this arranger, Tony King, with Pete, and I remember Peter Shelley and Pete at the piano trying to work out Love Me Baby, like that follow-up, Love Me Baby. Peter Waterman and Peter Shelley wrote it, and I recorded that, and it came out, I think, really on the strength of Hurt So Good.
Yes.
Love Me Baby just flew up the chart, and it stuck at 21. To me, it didn't have the rhythm and bass and feel of the Jamaican rhythm.
Okay.
Of Hurt So Good, but it still did pretty good.
Yes, and I believe you made further appearances on Top of the Pops, did you, as well?
Oh, I was always on Top of the Pops.
Yes.
And I was told, I think as Pete told me, that the producer had a crush on me.
Oh, okay.
It was so funny. I was so shy, and this, when I went on Top of the Pops, what an experience. The first time I went, I was very short-sighted.
Yes.
And they had to transform me into this star.
Yes.
Kind of overnight star. And it was not in my kind of being or in my nature.
Yes.
And I really kept to myself and who I was. And they had a lot of trouble with me. Like how, Susan, you can't say that.
Okay.
And I would probably, I was naive, I don't know. But all of the write-ups would say Jamaican Cinderella or Jamaican Librarian in Culture Shock and all these weird things. Because I didn't really choose this profession. I just love music.
Yes.
Because the profession and the loving of music is a very rough profession, career, music.
Yes.
You really have to have the stamina and the grit to survive in the music world. And I was and still am quite soft-hearted.
Yes.
But anyway, it was a beautiful experience.
Yes.
To live in Holiday Inn for 3 months and drive up and down in beautiful cars and to walk up and down Oxford Street and see my posters on the big red buses. And it was really, and have people screaming at me and signing autographs. But yeah, man, that's how Pete came to produce, doing it her way.
Did Pete sort you a flat to live in then? Did you have an apartment?
Not Pete. I stayed at Holiday Inn for 3 months.
Oh, okay.
And then, as far as I know, Magnet Records found me an apartment in Putney.
Ah.
I used to stay in Putney.
Yes.
And they really did everything they could to make me happy.
Yes.
You know, when they thought I was homesick, they flew out my mother.
Oh, yes.
They really looked after me.
Yes.
You know, and every time I had to go on top of the pops, I did about 6 or 7.
Oh, right. Gosh.
You know, Pete and myself and the PR officer used to go all down Knightsbridge and things, buying gowns
Yes.
and shopping. And Pete was so upset because they couldn't find shoes.
Oh.
Because my feet, I'm 5'9", you know.
Yes.
So I have big feet. Yeah, Pete and myself, I remember him slightly chubby-faced with this big mop of unruly curls.
Oh, yes.
His hair was something else.
Yes. He had a long hairstyle in those days.
Yeah, and his favorite word was diabolical.
Right.
Everything is diabolical. And he used to, in the end, they got me cabaret shows. I used to do cabaret shows.
Oh, yes.
At Bailey's Club of Watford, Bailey's Club of wherever.
Yes.
And every night at 1 o'clock I'd have to sing, and Pete used to be there. You know, Pete was like my buddy.
Yes.
You know, even though we butted heads.
Yes.
Because I was very kind of reluctant to do a lot of things, and I know he got miserable sometimes, you know?
Yes.
I had to go to California in August with practically no voice.
Oh, gosh.
It was my first show in California.
Oh, right.
I was so upset, but it's amazing how you still sing.
That was this year, was it?
Yeah, just August gone here.
Ah, right. So you've...
Yeah, and I had a really nice show there, even without the proper voice.
Yes.
And this thing has lasted very long. You know, I don't know if it's old age.
Yes. Well, you must have looked after your voice. Well, have you had? Do you have
Yes.
any special supplements like honey or things like that? Or
Yes, honey and lemon, and I have Mucinex, and
yeah.
I went to the doctor before I came here.
Okay.
Before I came to London, you know. So
Yes, to get the advice.
yeah, man.
And I believe you played at the 100 Club in London earlier this year as well.
Yes, in was it June?
Yes.
I think. That was really a nice show. It was packed.
Yes.
And the people were just, you know. I remember back in 2003 doing Dingwalls.
Oh, yes, in Camden.
With
yes.
the Slackers, this band called the Slackers.
Yes.
Out of New York, a ska band, or, you know. So
Yes.
it has been really nice what music has done for me.
Yes.
And at this point in my life, to be able to fly up and down and still sing all over Europe and still record. Because I've recently recorded a new track of Paul Young's Love Is in the Air.
Oh, yes.
And it isn't out on hard copy. It's just download, you know, this newfangled digital thing
Yes.
that they do.
Okay, yes.
You know, but I'm so happy that these days that vinyl is coming back.
Yes, it's...
Or has come back.
Yes. Yes, still very popular.
And I've recorded with an Italian band,
Oh, right.
Green 45,
Oh, wow.
of me singing Unforgettable to reggae and also an original song.
Well, that sounds good.
They're both very nice.
I look forward to
And
listening.
I've also recorded with some producers in Germany
Yes.
who are doing an album, a reggae tribute to the Ramones.
Oh, yes.
So they've recorded over all their songs with a dub kind of beat and
okay.
with some altered lyrics, and I sang over Blitzkrieg Bop. Now, I didn't know it, and I didn't really want to sing it,
Yes.
but I did, and I changed it to Jamrock Dub,
Oh, okay.
you know, Jamaica thing,
Yes.
and it's for bass line and beat. So I have that out. I haven't been, you know, just left in the past.
No,
I've
you've
tried
been-
to keep up. Yeah.
That sounds good.
And I've been doing shows and touring from like 2000. I started off in 2009
Okay.
to come back into the music.
Yes.
When I retired from the library.
Yes.
Where I used to work.
Oh, yes, I was going to ask you about that. I did read you worked in a library, so I guess you've got a love of books and things.
People always think that, but I tell them I was not a professional librarian.
Oh, okay.
When I left school, as I tell you, I didn't have a calling.
Right, yeah.
So I just wanted a job. But I discovered I'm very good at organizing and running offices.
Ah.
So I used to run the most important section in the library at university campus that housed the prescribed texts.
Okay.
And in Jamaica, well, most places students couldn't afford to buy these expensive books.
Yes.
So the library would have, and they would have to borrow them overnight and bring them back and stuff. So I stayed with the library for 40 years.
Oh, right. Wow.
Yeah, I resigned. The music made me resign 4 times, but they took me back every time. And because I didn't have this personality where I wanted to be in the limelight and sing and be a star.
Yes.
It never has ever really, I don't understand why people must go on like they're so hot.
Yes.
I mean, sometimes you just have a special gift.
Yes.
So I love to sing and I share it, but I share it in a normal way. I don't have to go on like I can't speak to you or be high up and have security guards and stuff and wear diamonds and pearls.
Yes. No, it makes sense, yes.
So I love to, that's why I like singing in settings where you're close to your audience.
Yes.
Rather than those big stage settings,
Yes, that makes sense.
So,
so you can have interaction with the audience whilst the show goes on, yes.
So when I left the library now and I didn't know what to do, I slowly but surely started doing this life work.
Yes.
And I've grown to love it and stirred up back a little name for myself. All thanks to Hurt So Good. So I always say if it wasn't for Lee Perry,
yes,
I wouldn't, call Lee Perry named me Susan.
Oh, right, it was him who...
Yeah, when I started singing for him and he asked me my name,
yes,
because he recorded Her So Good before he knew who I was.
Ah.
So after I sang it, he said, I love your voice, what's your name? So I said, my name is Anne. And he said, Anne? He said, no, sir. You mean Susan?
All right.
So that sounds sexy because you have a sexy voice.
Ah.
That's what he told me. And he wanted to call the album Sexy Susie.
Right.
In fact, somewhere online you can see pictures with this thing, Sexy Susie.
Ah.
Lee Perry, So he named me Susan.
Ah.
And then I came over here and met Peter and thing, and Susan. They call Susan a little differently. They don't say Suzanne. They say Susan, like the cut off. And I've been Susan Cadogan, Cardigan, all kind of ways I call my name, Cadogan.
Yes, yes, there's different ways you can pronounce.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
So, and when I was here in 2015, I came over for some shows.
Oh, yeah.
And Pete interviewed me on his BBC Coventry.
Ah, yes.
Because he wanted me to tell people what he was like back in the day.
Yes.
So I told them all the good stuff.
Right. Yes.
The songs that were picked for the album, Pete picked the songs.
Yes.
And the other day, it really amused me because we sang a reggae version. It was beautiful,
Yes.
Because he had a whole orchestra on the album.
Oh, yes.
The orchestration is beautiful. I just wish that I'd been more mature at that time.
Oh, okay, yes.
And could, at this stage now, sing over those songs.
Yes.
But we sang Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow? And he would direct me and say, will you still love me? I can't wait for the song. I remember him telling me to shout that out.
Right.
And at the end of the record, he says, good night, darling. And he kisses me on the record. So I say, imagine that. Peter Waterman is kissing. And then we had this, he wanted to sing Swinging on a Star,
Oh, yes.
which I thought was so silly. So we quarreled over that too. So in the end, I sang it, and he sings on it.
Oh, okay.
But he sings a verse, and they speed up his voice, so he sounds like a chipmunk.
Oh,
But I sung like a chipmunk without them speeding up my voice. I just did it,
yes.
you know? So we had I sang a lot of songs reluctantly,
Okay.
and I was not experienced when I made Pete's album.
Yeah.
But I have to hand it to him that he made it really what you'd call sophisticated reggae.
Yes.
And it's very nice.
Yes.
You know, between himself, Peter Shelley, and Tony King
Yes.
was the arranger, you know.
Do you have any memories of Camden Town at that time? I think Pete mentioned you'd done some recording at a studio in Camden Town.
I don't know if it's Chalk Farm.
Yes,
I don't
Chalk
know.
Farm, yes.
But I remember going to the studio, and there was a whole bunch of musicians.
Oh, yes.
You know, they have violins and all the strings and stuff. You know, this was real on-spot played music, not like today when you can make up a whole rhythm track.
Oh, with a machine, yes.
You know, the feel was so different.
Ah, yes.
But I remember them saying, you know, come on, lads, we're going to play Imagine to reggae. Because when you're playing it to reggae and everybody starts to bounce to get the reggae beat.
Yes.
That was so funny to me. But, you know, I was over here really alone.
Oh, okay, yes.
I didn't have anybody, and it was just, I don't know. Because I know I'm miserable, you know. I'm born in November.
Right.
So I know probably I gave him need to be annoyed.
Okay. But I guess, yes, it must have been quite difficult travelling here yourself, even though you had all the activities to do when you're here. I guess, was it the case sometime in the evening at the hotel? Would that be difficult to
Well,
come
yeah,
back?
because I had, my cousin was at the time studying law at Gray's Inn.
Oh, right, yes.
So he used to come and help me and drive me around.
Yes.
And I didn't see her too much though. His sister was also doing nursing at the time. But apart from that, I didn't know anybody. And I'm a very quiet person, you know.
Mm.
So I didn't make friends or stuff. But I'm accustomed to being alone.
Yes.
So I'd watch TV, or I'd make a habit. I used to go to Speaker's Corner
Oh, yes.
on Sundays and listen to them, everybody ranting away.
Yes, Hyde
Or
Park,
I'd walk up and down Oxford Street, and I found things to enjoy my time because I had a lot of activities, interviews.
Yes.
And I went to Europe.
Oh, yes.
I went to France, I remember, and Monaco.
Yes.
I remember going to the place where they gamble. Because I remember putting some money. I won a whole lot of money.
Oh, right.
And the PR guy who was with me said the money belonged to the record company. I said, oh, no, this is mine. I put it in.
Yes.
You know, have little flashes. I remember when I was in France, they taught me to say, Je m'appelle Suzanne Cadogan et vous sont.
Oh.
That's so good, you know.
Yes.
So, and I remember going to radio shows to do interviews.
Yes.
And being told I shouldn't speak too much because people won't understand my accent.
Oh. Right.
And I said, what? I said, I speak English. I don't know what you speak. Because the Cockney or whatever it was, because I did interviews, you know, and they wrote interviews dropping my H's, and I don't drop H's.
Ah.
Right? Because my father spoke the most proper English.
Yes.
He was a Reverend God Cadogan, and I've grown up like that.
Yes.
My education is British.
Yes.
GC in A level, and I know I speak English. I can speak Jamaican patois, you know. I didn't grow up speaking it. But when I came over here, I couldn't understand some of the people.
Ah, yes.
You know, like how they speak in My Fair Lady.
Yes.
The kind of Cockney thing.
Ah, okay, yes.
And the Rhine and Spine.
Yes.
And this kind of, you know what I mean? Honestly, I really feel all that happened to me was to happen.
Yes.
Because every time I left music, because I was hurt by it, it came back to me. I didn't seek it out.
Yes.
Somebody would call me and say, Susan, can you sing this? Or can you do this? And it would start up again.
Yes.
I never really, these days people send out their tapes, or not even tapes these days, whatever, and try to get a deal and have this rough life. I never had it.
No.
The music just came to me.
It found you.
I mean, I'm one of the few people who, like, boom, right out and, have a big hit.
Yes.
The second song I sang.
That's right. It all happened naturally, and
yeah, so it was just meant to be. So
yes,
I found these days in my life, I don't question anything.
Yes.
I just let things unfold and happen as they will.
Yes.
And your life goes around full circle. That's why I'm meeting up back coming round back to Pete.
Yes.
But I haven't seen him must be back in those days.
Oh, right.
Except I've seen pictures of him. I sent him some new music I'd sung, and he played it on his show.
Oh, right.
And Robert Elms played it.
Oh, yeah.
And I've done quite a few BBC interviews.
Yes.
And the other day, Craig Charles played my new song on covers.
Yes.
But I said to her to tell Pete, why doesn't he let me sing a song for him? Because I could sing, Kylie sings Santa Baby.
Yes.
So I told him I could sing it sexier than her.
Yes.
Because I'm not trying to be sexy. I have a natural sexy voice.
Yes.
And I don't think he was amused. I haven't heard from them since then. I have new recording. I can see clearly now.
Yes.
And it's not reggae. I've sung it to a kind of up-tempo beat. Because I wanted to sing a new song.
Yes.
And honestly, I'm so tired of hearing bad news.
Yes.
Who has died and what disease and what the politics and the killings and the thing.
Yes.
And this song just came to me. And I picture myself on a wide open stage with my hands flung up singing, love is in the air.
Yes.
Why people cannot feel good and kind towards each other is beyond me.
Yes.
Right? So I'm attacking the positive, and that's why I wanted to sing that song.
Yes.
And I'm opening my show with it on Saturday. And, and I'm singing I've never stopped. Well, more recently now, I just keep recording.
Yes.
I even sang over Her So Good with a choir.
Oh, right. Oh, that'll be...
And it just came out. I don't know if it works so well, but they love it.
Yes.
The Ska Choir of Portsmouth. I've sung over Her So Good with the choir. It's really funny.
Oh, that'll be interesting to hear.
So I have quite a lot of new music out.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And he has a radio station. He can, if he likes it, he play it. If he don't like it, well.
Yes.
If
Pete said he wants to do a song with you, would you do it today?
Of course, but why? Who would want to record a 73-year-old? But when I sing, Howard, I sound like a girl.
Yes.
That's what I don't understand. Even when I speak, people say they don't believe how old I am. And I'm still singing the same key I recorded in.
Oh, that's a good sign, yes, because sometimes people have to change the key, don't they, because the voice...
They drop the key.
Changes, yes.
I tried to drop the key for Do It Baby, and it just didn't sound right. But I can sing it in the key that it was all shame on you. Those things are sky high. Because people always say to me, Susan, you started this high singing thing in England. Because the Lovers Rock girls over here say, Susan, if it wasn't for you, you opened the door for all of us and this high singing. You know, so I have accomplished a little and I'm happy.
Yes.
Honestly. But to see Pete again, I mean, I think honestly, your life just keeps going round in circles and you start to go back and meet up who you used to know when you start to get older.
Yes, I think it can come full circle sometimes, certainly.
Even fashion does it. The music does it.
Yes.
Remember, listen, I throw away so much vinyl. And now people want vinyl.
Yes.
Right? Even cassettes are coming back.
Yes.
The big platform shoes are back.
That's
You
right.
know, so you keep going full circle and meeting up back. Because sometimes I can't remember why I went outside,
Oh,
but
yeah.
I remember the lyrics to thousands of songs.
Yes.
It's amazing, you know? Boy, I'm telling you, life as well is something. I just wish everybody would just live it in peace.
I've got to ask you, Susan, what your favourite type of pizza is.
Pizza?
Yes. Do you have a favourite type?
Well, actually, the kind I like, the Italians don't appreciate it because the Italians don't like pineapple on their pizza.
Yes.
And I think it adds a little sweet. And like
Yeah.
in Jamaica, we have plantain, as they call it,
Yeah.
a little sweet with your meal. But I just think a pizza has to have pepperoni and a lot of cheese.
Yes.
And I like a little pineapple on it. So it's not really a Hawaiian pizza.
Yes.
Because I also like the pizza that has just plain tomatoes, onions, green peppers.
Oh, yes.
But I don't like the beef. There's a little sausage beef they put on.
Yes.
But just before I came, I had a Pizza Hut stuffed crust.
Oh, yes.
Oh, my goodness. Oh. It was delicious.
Yes. Okay, well, thanks so much, Susan, for joining us today. It was great to speak to you, and we look forward to the show at Pizza Express this Saturday.
Okay, thank you so much. Oh, well, it was really nice. My pleasure to share, my experiences, my life, and what's going on. And I do look forward to Saturday and hope to see and entertain and mingle up close and just have a chit-chat. Beautiful evening of music.